Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and in person with me, I've got Jannik Ehret. Hey, Jannik.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. All right,
Yeah.
so Jannik is here, and we got to meet at Film Invasion Los Angeles in June of this year when your film Paisano Overhang, and I'm going to be super nerd because I'm a big fan of your film, and and I'm a fan that you credit it to a trio. You just say produced, filmed, and edited by Dakota. Oh, I should have checked their names. Dakota Kappen, you, Jannik Ehret, and Hayden Garratt.
Yeah, I wish I would have brought them along today, but shouting them out. It was a trio, truly a trio project, which was cool.
Yeah, excellent. And I don't think we have to worry about spoilers, but it's a documentary that involves a rock climber and rock climbing, and the title Paisano Overhang. If some people might know where it is, but it's a super challenging rock climb of sorts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a historic test piece. It's the first in that grade as the grades were being pushed up. That was the hardest one at that level at the time, and it was climbed by John Long, who's also in the doc, who's a very famous climber, and so it has kind of this allure to it.
And I have to admit, the marriage of rock climbing and documentary, I'm starting to realize it's almost a subgenre. Like, I'm not sure there's anything as cinematic as rock climbing.
Right? It's like...
Right? And I'm supposed to say, Paisano Overhang, your film, won the Filmmakers Award for Outstanding Short Film Documentary and the Filmmakers Award for Outstanding Cinematography for Documentary, and credited to Catalina Guerra Hoffman. So there we go. But also, all three of you...
Yeah,
a lot of people were using cameras.
Yeah, everyone that was there, it was 5 of us, and 4 of us had cameras in our hands. Kata was specifically doing drone stuff, and she also did the photo that was for that was in the poster, and just BTS photography as well. But yeah, we all kind of jumped in all over the place. The nature of filming something like a rock climb, where we're all quite a distance apart and we can't really easily move to different positions, kind of necessitates having multiple camera people because, you know, the angle, for example, from above, seeing him come up the climb, that's takes a lot of strength and time to get into that position safely. So if that was the only camera person, you know, it would take a whole hour to get back down and then a whole hour to get back up for the next try. So that's why it really makes sense in this specific genre to have so many camera people. Yeah.
And what Mike was doing was so challenging, to ask him to do it more times for the camera would have been ridiculous, right? I mean, you were literally capturing really a live sporting event.
Yeah. And in this case, I was the one right above him, and it actually kind of helped him because I was able to, after every attempt, he has to take the pieces that he places for his safety back out. And in that particular route, he has to essentially climb it again just to clean it out for the next attempt. But because I was up there, I was able to help him out and release that final piece that he places. And he was able to actually get an extra try in for the day that he would not have been able to get before without me there. So that was kind of fun.
Very cool. All right. Well, so I mentioned the awards, and before, because I can tell we could talk about the film specifically for a long time, but this podcast is always about getting to know the filmmakers too.
Cool, yeah.
So before we get too deep into Paisano Overhang, let's talk about you. So where'd you grow up? When did you get interested in film, or were you a creative kid? Did it come along a little later?
Yeah, I grew up in Germany. I was born in Helmstedt, which is like a pretty close to Berlin, like 2 hours for Berlin, northern Germany area. And moved around a lot, but pretty much stayed in that general region. And my one half of my family, my mom's side, lives near Frankfurt, which has a lot of history. And so as a kid, I would always go on these climbing trips with my godfather, who got me into climbing. And he would tell me stories about the castles that we would drive past, and I was really fascinated with that, the whole history there. And that kind of, I think, was the birth of my interest in stories in general and storytelling. But I was never really into movies specifically. I think I was allowed to watch like a movie a week or something. So missed out on a lot of like classics that people reference now. I'm like, I don't know what that is.
But also your parents didn't do the thing where they used TV as a babysitter, it sounds
Yeah.
like. They limited your viewing, which probably made you a more creative person.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. But
I'm guessing.
Yeah. So I would, play Legos, listen to audio tapes, more stories there. And then, movies weren't really my world until I immigrated to the United States when I was 10 to Oregon. And my stepdad, who was American, I moved with my mom, he was a cinephile. So I was instantly just like shock load of movies. And I was like, whoa, this is such a cool thing I didn't really realize was around or really wasn't able to connect with. He loved American blockbusters. So like Alien and like Rambo and like all these crazy movies. And so that kind of entered my world and kind of felt by the time I was at the end of high school and I had to kind of make a decision on where to go with my life. It was either architecture, because I love building stuff and doing things with my hands, or pursuing the storytelling part of my life, and which movies were kind of the next evolution of, and that one made more sense to me.
And when you say storytelling, were you a writer as a kid? Were you writing short stories and things?
No, I would draw. I went to a Waldorf school, which is really heavy in like fine art. Like it's all around you, or any type of art. You do sculpting and all this stuff. And my thing was drawing, and I would draw these stories that my godfather would tell me about the castles and the history. And I would draw these big murals with like characters attacking each other and whatever. So, I would draw stories, I would say. They're like they're not like just a rose that's in a field or whatever. It's like characters doing
almost
things.
graphic novel-esque.
Graphic novels, you could say, yeah. Although at the time I didn't really know what a graphic novel was either, but yeah.
But also, as everyone, I'm not the first person to say that's another version of storyboarding too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to back up and just add a compliment, which is my brother worked for Ford and lived in Bonn, Germany for 4 years with my nieces and nephew. So I've been to Frankfurt. I've been to I love that part of the world, actually. I think all the Americans, I traveled a lot. All the Americans I talked to were like, where should I go? I'm like, don't snooze on Germany. Would you please? Like a lot of Americans, are just focused on Paris and London. I'm like, until you go to Berlin, I think it might be the best capital on the continent,
Yeah, I really like Berlin too.
Berlin's amazing. Mm-hmm. I have a friend in Frankfurt who works for the Max Planck Institute, a physicist.
Okay.
So, hey, Frankfurt's rad. So anyway, I just wanted to throw I wanted you to know that I don't know, I felt like saying, it's not every day I talk to someone who grew up in Germany, so say, I love your home country. Yeah. Shout out to Frankfurt. Haven't been to the one 2 hours north of Berlin, I don't think, but.
Oh, that's the Frankfurt you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
but I mean, the other town was,
right?
Your mom's family was from Frankfurt.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So now you're in Oregon, and so when you apply to university, you just decide did you aim for film or?
Yeah. So I knew an architect, a family friend, and at the end of high school, I sat down with him and was like, "Hey, what's architecture about?" And he was like, "Oh, it's not actually as creative as you might think it is." And
a lot of math, a lot of where the toilets go.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like structural engineering and all this other stuff. And so I decided to go with film. And I had a film mentor, another family friend, lots of useful family friends, who kind of became my film mentor for this like final project at the end of high school. And through that, I kind of discovered with his blessing too, this is something that I could be good at. And the first project I actually ever worked on was a documentary about my family when I was like 16 that this mentor person did, which was kind of a wild ride. But through those experiences, I went to the University of Oregon to study film there. At that point, it was more of a decision of it's a close call, it's close to home, and it's cheap enough. Like an AFI would have been awesome, but it just wasn't in the cards money-wise. And so I studied there. There was a lot of theory in the way that program was structured, and so a lot of the like hands-on stuff was all student run, which was kind of cool. Like the film club, which I was kind of in charge of making happen, a part of that. And then they had this broadcast TV station for which we would make like episodic things for that you had to like pitch and everything. So all the hands-on stuff, or a lot of it, was like student run, which was cool because you had to really develop this like independence of like, if you don't make it happen, it's just not going to happen, you know? Versus like, sometimes I feel like some of the AFI experience people get is like, you know, you need $10,000 to make a short, which is just like kind of putting yourself in a box you maybe don't need to put yourself into. So that was really cool. I had really great mentors through that program that really shaped, I think, the way I thought about film. We had Chloe Zhao before she won the Oscar a couple years before, right after she finished The Rider, come through, and I think that really, she's a really documentary approach to filmmaking. If you're not familiar with her, it's narrative, but it feels like a documentary. And that, I think, I really connected with her and her approach, and that really shaped the way I look at narrative and documentary. And then after college, I was pretty sure I wanted to go to LA. I had spent a summer down here trying to make it happen when I was 18. And just
like the summer before college started, or between freshman and sophomore year or something?
Yeah, I think it was before college started, or I think it was somewhere in there.
Like that last summer of freedom.
Yeah, one of those.
Starts, yeah.
And
I wanted to add that this program at Oregon State sounds really rad because it sounds very
University of Oregon State.
Oh, University of Oregon.
Yeah.
I fucked that one up.
Oh,
University of Oregon.
They'll crucify me if I don't.
I know.
Put Beaver this one in rivalry.
You're the Ducks.
Ducks, yeah.
Not the Beavers. I love that they're Beavers. Oh, so anyway, I just wanted to note that sounds like a really great program, that there was a lot of film theory with the professors, but then when it came to the hands-on stuff, it was very independent, like student, like film clubby, which I think sounds like a really nice balance.
Yeah. I was always kind of like advocating for wanting to be taught more production stuff, because that's why I went to school. But I think you're right. Ultimately, a lot of perks came out of that. And the production experience we did get through classes through these mentor characters was quite good. So
excellent. All right. So you graduate and you actually, any notable films while you were there? Like anything, like any directing experience? Did you have a focus on directing, or was it doing everything?
From the get-go, I wanted to direct and write and just kind of make my own stuff. I made a lot of different short films and projects. Anything specifically notable? I made a couple of 4-part series for this Duck TV thing, this TV station that the school had, which was a great learning experience because it was 200 of your peers would see it every 2 weeks, every episode. And so really learning how to handle sitting in a room with 200 people that are critiquing, maybe on their phones doing boring parts, yawning, starting side conversations, and you can really feel when people lock in too. So it's like such a direct line of feedback that it really allows you to like hone your, work with people's attention spans. And I don't think that there was a particular project that I could point to, but just overall that experience was cool through that specific TV thing.
Right, and that was almost an experience where you think, oh, so I have to edit to grab their attention.
Yeah.
It teaches you, because when you're super involved in something, sometimes you don't think what the audience reaction will be. And that was like facing audience reactions, like talk about a cold shower.
Exactly.
Right? Like ice water in the face, like when people are like, looking at their phones, that must have been tough.
Yeah, and every screening felt like forcing yourself to be in that room. Like everything you wanted to do before was like, oh, I actually have to do homework. I can't be at the screening, but you got to go in there.
Got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so then that sounds very cool. Duck TV sounds really fun too. But so so you just head down to LA?
Yeah. So, like I said, when I was 18, I'd been down here for a short stint, and through Craigslist got onto a terrible project that got sued to oblivion, and nothing came of it. And I was hoping there'd be a little bit of a connection there to get me started later on. Nothing came of it. Years later, after college, I come down and I get into background work because it's the only way in that I have. I don't know anyone, but I did know somebody from my college, from that Duck TV program. She worked at Central Casting, so she was kind of able to tell me what to do to slide in there with the least amount of resistance. And I did that for a year, which was hard because I just didn't get cast a lot, but it was really cool being able to see a huge set with like infinite amount of money, even just from the sidelines. It's something, an experience I might have paid for, in college.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, I'm getting paid to just be on the sidelines and watch this, or maybe be behind the main actor. Awesome. I was on Euphoria, the full first season, which was really cool. And various other Superstore or something like that.
Right. So when they needed so you were on the younger side. So
yeah, it was just always
those kinds of things. They
18 to look younger.
Background. Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime there was a high school, I was in the background somewhere. But it was just really hard to make anything else myself because I was just constantly stressed about money, and stress is just such a creative suck. So I was like, I know what'll allow me to have a lot more free time and make a lot more money. I'll get into PAing.
Sure, yeah. Well, look, it's still focused on the goal, though. At least, right?
Yeah.
It's not. I thought you were going to be like, so I went into bartending, but go on.
That honestly probably would have given me more free time and money, but I was, I think it's still the right call, but.
It's the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
When you're new.
Yeah, so I got into my first set via also somebody that I went to high school with that had moved down here, and I reconnected at a party, barely knew her, but she was like, "Oh yeah, come on, cover me this one day on this one random Amazon set." And I was like, that sounds like exactly what I'm looking for.
Oh, so someone you went to high school with was PAing.
And
you were already thinking you wanted to PA.
I was looking for a way in. I would chat up the background PAs, which is never a good idea when you're doing background. They were all like, no. I was like, come on, let me just day play for one day. So much later, a couple of weeks later, through this friend, I got into this show called Them Covenant, which is this horror Get Out-esque show about the history of Compton. And and I started my 2-year run of PAing on a bunch of shows, and really learning how unforgiving working on a set is.
But I will also add that the fact that you PA'd regularly for 2 years means you get shit done. They're very harsh on young people, right? And they mistreat you. They well, not necessarily, but probably a little. And they're hard on people. And if you keep getting hired and hired and hired, that means you're doing something right.
Yeah, I think it was a really valuable experience to learn the pace of a film set. Every second counts, and just how to behave, the lingo, all that stuff.
So you were in super observation mode?
Yeah, I mean, it was always, everything I was doing was kind of with the intent of how is this going to be useful when I do my own stuff, And
when you say own stuff, did you have a focus? Were you thinking, are you divided between scripted and documentary and various genres, or?
No, I think it was mainly just about what's a subject I think is interesting, and I want to make that into a story. But all I knew is that I wanted, and I'm still there kind of, that I just want to tell the story from my perspective.
Sure.
Yeah, I was, watching what the director does, chatting up, what's important for a dolly grip to know, all kind of within the lens of how is this going to aid me later? As you do when you PA. Usually people don't want to be career PAs. There's a couple of them out there, but yeah. So then eventually, after 2 years, I kind of realized that I didn't have any free time or energy when I did have free time or money to like actually pursue what I wanted to pursue. And it kind of felt like it was time to stop observing and getting more into making my own stuff. And since I had all this background doing stuff with my hands through Waldorf when I was a kid and drawing and stuff, I went into the art department direction for my day job, which I still do to this day, which paid more, and it also allowed me to, the way my brain works, just to come home with still creative energy left versus being drained by logistics and timelines.
And did the PA work set you up to know what department to aim at? And then you actually had some contacts. You could say, hey, I'm thinking art department, and I can show a portfolio or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I flirted with going into each of the different departments before settling there for sure. I toured a special effects shop. With props, I would hang out with those guys a lot just to kind of see how they work and camera and all that stuff. But I think art just fit most into how I wanted to structure my life.
Yeah, it totally lines up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and because you were enjoying it a little more, you did have more creative juice in your spare time.
Yeah. Yeah. So
did you use that? So then did you start thinking about films to make or scripts to write? Or
yeah, I was kind of always in the background, writing. I started a writers group through Santa Barbara Film Festival. I met somebody there when I first moved down here, and I've been in the same writers group for 6 years, which is cool.
From attending the festival, or
yeah, I met somebody there.
Oh,
and
nice.
She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in a writers group," and I've been in the same one ever since. But yeah, so I'm always writing in the background, and then doing around this time. One of the scripts that I'd written, I wanted to make, and I did. I made it was called Her Sweater, and it was about just a kind of a slice of life thing. Me meeting somebody, a real story about me meeting somebody that I kind of fell in love with, and it all kind of takes place during one day, and shot that. And that was kind of the beginning of this next chapter of just kind of making short films on the side while also working now in art department. Right.
Excellent. And by then I bet you had enough friends and associates that when you wanted to make a short, you had a well, we call it a roll. I call it a Rolodex, even though it's just a contact list. Like there were people you could pull in and collaborators.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you've been on sets for a few years.
Yeah.
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 And did the art department work like inform you also as like as a filmmaker, as a director? Like, did you find yourself?
I think not for that first one. I think that Her Sweater was very much a Chloe Zhao style project where it was just very minimalist, documentary feel, just two people talking. The next bigger thing I made after that, which is called Tendon, which I made about a year ago, that one was really art department focused because I was like, okay, I love art department. All the movies I like have really cool sets and are all very like set piece centric. So I want to make one. I want to make one about I want to build a sewer in my garage, and it was all kind of based off of this idea of my fascination of the LA River. Because as a kid in Germany, seeing pictures of the LA River or seeing it in GTA at the time, my friend had the game Grand Theft Auto and it had the LA River in it. And I was like, oh, is this something the game creators made up to have to race in? Like, what the hell is this? This can't be real.
It's pretty weird, isn't it?
It's absurd. Yeah.
It's visually, it's ugly.
It's ugly. It's way too
utilitarian.
Big. You never really see that much water flow through it. Like, what is this thing? And it's like like a brutalist, like massive infrastructure thing. And it had this like a cosmic horror gigantism, I guess, vibe to it, and I really wanted to capture that. And the story was about a guy finding an alien in the sewers, and there's this rental place in town where you get a lot of pre-built sets that are donated. You can get them for free there. And I was kind of waiting for the jump to start diving into this project. And by chance, I see an 8-foot sewer pipe that you can walk into at this rental place that's already pre-built, pre-dressed, everything. And so I just get that trucked into my garage. And then instantly it was time to go because my roommates were like, what the hell is this thing in our garage? When the hell is this getting out of here? And so I had the time pressure that I needed to get it done.
Which is funny because I would have thought you would have been able to have like let's make like 7 films with this sewer pipe, because that's a really cool thing to have. You could have turned that into all kinds of things. That just must have been crazy to have in there, an 8-foot pipe. Oh my God.
9 foot actually.
Oh, 9 foot. And how long?
That's how long it was.
Oh, it's
it
how
was
long?
9 foot long.
I was thinking 8 foot in diameter. Oh.
Diameter was maybe like 5 feet.
Right. So you had to crouch to be in it.
You had to crouch through it. Yeah. Which is exactly what I wanted. It ended up being perfect. And the neighbors were in a boy band, and they did want to film in the sewer. It didn't end up happening, but they were like, hey, what's that? And I was like, well, come on, film it before I tear it down. But anyway, so I shoot this... we shoot this project in my garage, and then also down by the LA River. Lots of fun moments there. Didn't get any permits, So at one point we had these huge lights all up down by the river. And a park in the middle of the night, it's like 1 a.m. A park ranger pulls up, and I think he just assumed nobody with this many lights wouldn't have permits. So he just looked at us, we looked at him, and he just drove away. And we're like, oh my God, thank God. But I think we were just like so confidently, so big in what we were setting up there that it kind of scared him off, or like made him realize that, there's nothing to get here.
Yeah, or just felt like being a nice human being one night.
Or he was just nice.
They're not hurting anybody.
Yeah, it was in the middle of the night.
It's different in where you were, right? You're in the LA River. You're not on a street like where he has to worry about, people in the neighborhood being pissed.
Yeah.
But still, it's cool. Eh? So you had that must have your blood pressure must have spiked when you saw.
Yeah. Yeah, and it happened again with the same result right afterwards, like with a different cop, like an hour later. But yeah. Wow,
you've got two cop stories that don't go bad. That's pretty good for an indie filmmaker.
I know. Yeah, I knock on your wooden table here.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope that doesn't mean the third one's bad.
There won't be a third one.
There won't be a third one.
Or look, we won't even get started on the permit talk because. I mean, come on. The fact that they require a permit for something that's indie, that's self-budgeted, the permit should be for the just charge a lot more to the big guys. That's all.
Yeah, it's like half my budget would go to the permit. I just can't do it. It's just
it's pointless. Happen. It's pointless.
Yeah.
All right, so that one. By the way, I'll tell you a funny story. A guy I really like who won awards at Film Invasion LA the previous year to yourself was from Canada and drove by the Sepulveda Dam that of course leads to the LA River you're talking about, and thought, oh, that's a cool place to. He didn't realize it had been like thousands of movies.
Yeah,
he thought he was the first person
all the time.
Right. He's like, he shot there, and then after I shot there, I started seeing it everywhere.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I know that one.
It is one of the few things LA has that, we got that in the Hollywood sign. Like, we don't have the same kind of landmarks as other cities, I don't think.
Yeah. LA River Dam, yeah.
So you made the Alien film.
So I made the Alien film, and then Paisano was pretty much next in line. I did make a really cool. Just to wrap up the garage builds, we made a pirate ship in the garage right after, which ended up looking really cool too, out of like recycled wood that I got from various other gigs that I had been collecting for a while.
So it felt like the interior of a pirate ship?
Yeah, it was like just a corner of the hull pretty much. So me and Hayden, who was also in this recent one, we built the whole. He also helped with the Tenon sewer set, since we're roommates, so we both live in there. Made just the whole of the pirate ship, and got these two great actors in it. Just a simple scene between the two of them, and that turned out really cool. And that might be getting. It got into Sitges recently, which is, I don't know if you're familiar. It's like in Spain. It's a festival in Spain that's like really genre focused into like the pitch category. So hopefully there'll be a feature that I get to do the production design for in that one. I didn't direct that one. That was just production design. But that would be awesome.
Nice. I was actually going to ask if because it sounds like you did Paisano right after. So did you do a festival run for each film? Or?
I did do a festival run for each film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her sweater is very long and very slow, so that one didn't get into that many, and it was relatively amateurish, I think, and very low production quality too. But that one got into Montreal Film Festival, whatever it's called, which I was pretty proud of. I was trying to apply for a director's program that required a film of mine to have gotten into a festival on a certain list. And I did get into one of the festivals on the list, so objective completed there. And then Tenon is still doing its run right now. Their H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival in Portland is the next one that I got into currently, which is exactly the target audience, because it's cosmic horror. So that's good. Yeah,
I'm not surprised. But that's also an honor, right? Because that means you made a really good film in that genre, because that's a genre specific festival.
Yeah.
And I've heard of it, and I know people. We always get stuff that's Lovecraftian because there's just a lot of people influenced by H.P. Lovecraft. So yeah, congrats on getting making a film that played there.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Excellent. I assume you didn't submit it to us. You just sent Paisano to us.
I think I just sent Paisano to you guys. I think I had already reached my limit of submissions on the Tenon one.
One has to budget it.
You gotta put a cap on it.
It's pretty nuts. Yeah. When I see a film, when I see a short that's played like in 72 festivals, I just think to myself, oh, there's a trust fund or something. Like, I don't even think it's I know I should think, oh, it must be an amazing film. I just think that means they submitted to 500.
Yeah, right. There's also like a learning curve to film festivals, which I'm still kind of in. And for the sweater one, I didn't know anything, just completely blindly doing it. For the Tenon one, I discovered film awards, which are like sneaky film festivals that are not real film festivals.
They don't do screenings.
They don't do screenings, which I didn't realize. And I was like, oh, $3 to like maybe screen here? Amazing. So I did 50. And I knew I was in trouble when I got like Best Atmosphere Award on one of them. I was like, this cannot. It's like a running joke now between the people that worked on it. And the Best Atmosphere, yeah.
You guys just brag about, but don't forget, we got Best Atmosphere.
Best Atmosphere. Yeah. I personally would not recommend submitting to something that is not going to screen your thing. At least that's not what I'm going for. So for the next one, Paisano was all about doing festivals that we could not only screened, but also we could go to. So that's where Film Invasion kind of came into, because it was local. It seemed like you guys were really well organized, and it would be very realistic for us to go there. And,
right, because you're in the area. Yeah.
And get our, submissions money worth of things to do.
And it's funny, why am I saying this? We're not super expensive. Like, I am always shocked when I look at the fees for other festivals, and I'm like, why are they charging that much? I don't know. I don't know. I always feel like if you're focused on indies, you shouldn't make it so prohibitive.
Yeah.
But I guess that I'm just admitting I'm accidentally confessing to being a shitty capitalist, I guess. But it just seems wrong to go up to like 75, 85, 100, Cause
it's like, the whole, it turns into like the upper echelon is just like a marketing thing, So it's like, at that point, it's like the marketing fee, $70. But that's like the people submitting to it are like like multi-million-dollar projects potentially, and it's like
Yeah. Yeah,
whole
whereas I think we're reasonable, and at the same time, we're in the top 100 best reviewed, so it's not going to suck.
Yeah,
So,
it's like it felt like a real community festival where it's like, this is about filmmakers. This is not primarily a marketing thing,
yes, you don't have to have a recognizable face to have a shot at getting in either.
Yeah, like it's about
that
the
stuff.
movies and the filmmakers.
Yeah, for sure.
And one cool thing about your festival was there was like have you heard of Yao.tv? Yao.tv?
Yeah, well, they were they
one of your
sponsored
sponsors.
us.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, they sponsored us. They were giving out those. Well, they were supposed to make their presence known at like the opening night gala and around the theater. There was like stuff.
Yeah, I didn't run into them there, but they reached out about liking the project, and we ended up.
Oh yeah, we gave them the contact list of all the award winners. I think.
And that was cool. Oh yeah, okay, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Yeah, and
we're very selective. So like I said to them, like, of course, like, you're sponsoring us, so trust me, like. We watched, we go from about 750 films to the top 60. So I'm like, we're doing the job for you guys.
Right.
Why don't you just take all the films I tell you to? That's what I want to say, but I'm not allowed to.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's cool because they seem to have a cool creator focused vision for how they want to kind of approach the whole, the producers get all the money, nobody else gets anything. Hollywood thing, and they seem to have there seems to be a new movement of how to restructure payment stuff in movies, all the crew getting percentage, there's different experiments happening, and they seem to be kind of part of that mix, which I thought was cool and attractive as a filmmaker. So yeah, they Paisano's on there right now, which is cool.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Excellent. So that's actually, you just I normally remember to ask at the beginning of a podcast if people can watch the film. Yeah. So people can go to yao.tv.
Yep.
And or download I bet if they have if you have a smart TV platform, and who doesn't at this point, like everyone's TV comes with either whatever it is, Google TV or Roku or something. But yeah, people can download the yao.tv app, right?
Yeah.
And then do a free trial and watch Paisano first, and then look at the rest of the stuff on there.
Yep.
Watch Paisano Overhang first.
That's right. Yeah.
That is everyone's homework if you're listening to this.
There you go.
And then you'll see the beautiful cinematography that got you that award. Yeah.
Yeah, go check it out. Some palm sweating climbing action.
I mean, so now we're on Paisano anyway. I mean, it's so engaging, and among the things I respect about it, well, no, I won't give that away, but I really respect the conclusion of it, and the way it's made. And I didn't have the honor of doing your Q&A at the theater, but I hope it was a good one. I haven't watched them all.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. But I hope that your Q&A moderator, if I gotten to do it, this is a thing I say about most of the documentaries, is I point out to people, like, it's so well directed, because documentaries about fascinating, I see documentaries all the time about a great subject that don't communicate well, right? They don't. So I have a chip on my shoulder for documentarians like yourself when you make a documentary, is that a lot of people just go, oh, that was an amazing subject, like, they assume it directed itself in a way, because what you do as a documentary director or co-director is tell the story without getting in the way much, like it's a much more subtle type of directing, and I think it's harder in a lot of ways. Because trust me, you don't see all the shitty documentaries I see.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, so I just want to say, like, I just want to pay you that compliment.
Thank you.
You and
nice.
your collaborators, whose names I have not memorized, but wait, Dakota and Hayden. Because the three of you did a great job and told a great story. So actually, do you want to share how you came across Mike Argent?
So
because that's the next one, right? That's what you did right after 10.
Yeah. So for a while, my climbing partner, Dakota Kappen, one of the three.
Right, so you're an active rock climber.
Yeah, both of us climb a lot, and we're always climbing partners for like longer trips and bigger routes. And we've been kind of wanting to combine our passions of climbing and being liking to record things, making stories. And so we're kind of looking for a subject to do something on. And we were at the rock gym, and we were climbing this crack at the rock gym, which is, if you are a rock climber, or if you're not a rock climber, in the gym, people don't climb the cracks. It's not a popular thing to climb in the gym. That's like something, and it's an outdoor thing. So we were the only ones doing the crack that day. And this guy shows up, which ended up being Mike, and was super excited that somebody's actually doing the cracks, because that's exclusively what he does. He does not really climb any other types of climbs. And so with a lot of excitement, he kind of teaches us what to do, because we don't know what we're doing. We're really new to crack climbing. And
crack climbing is like in a rock face or a mountain face, like there's a crack and you're actually like traveling out over emptiness in a way.
The crack climbing is you're using pretty much just the crack, a vertical crack in a cliffside to climb.
Right, so you're pressing against both sides, and that's...
Yeah, you're kind of using your body, your fist, for example, to wedge into that crack. Like you take your hand upright, and then you put it in the crack, and then you turn it, and your hand becomes wider, and that you can use it kind of like a wedge. And that's a very different kind of climbing than just climbing on holds, and they don't translate at all. If you know one,
no, it sounds completely different.
You have no idea how to do the other. You'd think maybe, climbing a cliff is all the same. Very different.
And it sounds way more challenging.
I mean, I guess
it's fair to say.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both. I'm not saying that regular rock climbing, if it's called regular, I'm not saying that. But at a climbing gym, a lot of people are just like having fun going.
It's
like
very
there's footholds
heavy
there already.
Yeah, you kind of need to learn. Normal rock climbing, if you're strong, you can probably just kind of do it. Crack climbing, you need to know the technique. You need to like sit down and research, or have somebody tell you. Not intuitive. So we run into him, and he's like so expressive, and has like, you can kind of tell there's like a little bit of like gravitas to him, but he's kind of a goofy guy at the same time. And all that to me just screams like there's a character and there's something going on here. Like, what's happening here? And we both look at each other and we're like, all right, before this guy heads out, we got to get his number. We got to figure out what his deal is. And we found out that he's like kind of already had a documentary filmed on him. He's like an actor. He's like wants to be in front of the camera and looking for opportunities. And it's just kind of this perfect match. And so through talking to him more, we find out that he has this big climbing goal, which is the Paisano Overhang, big test piece, which is an even more unique kind of, I'll spare you the details, even more unique type of rock climbing called off-width, super niche, super difficult, even more technique. And we're like, oh, that's a perfect, really odd, specific goal to have with a really odd, specific character. And that's kind of how the idea came to make this short. The execution of it ended up being quite simple, I'd say. We spent $500 in Airbnb and filmed him do it. I was like kind of blown away, because I don't really make that many docs. I've spent $12,000 making the Cosmic Horror one, all my savings, and months of my life, and we did this one in a weekend, and we were super proud of it.
Right. But you obviously did a lot of planning, right? Because you planned out all the camera stuff, and
I mean,
or was it just kind of like, you felt it was kind of obvious where the cameras needed to be? It
felt pretty obvious. We looked at photos of the climb, and Dakota and I have
and you knew about his performance and his truck thing that he did. I really love his customized truck that he turned into a stage.
It's so cool. That actually came as we were kind of putting things together. That kind of came out of talking to him more. And the John Long interview also came through Mike just knowing him. That came after we shot the actual climb. But yeah, I mean, it seemed pretty obvious, he's going to pop over this roof and we'll see his face and we'll want to see him be happy or sad or whatever. And the rest was kind of just out of necessity. I can really only be right here. So we'll have one camera there, one there.
Right. And he had tried it before.
He had tried it already 4 times.
4 times,
Yeah.
and he'd failed 4 times. So
Yeah.
you're up there and you're just like rolling the dice, like, hey, let's see what happens. Like,
Yeah.
it really was like, it really does feel like live sports in a way. That's
that
why
was the
people are so
experience,
engaged
yeah.
by sports. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was, I should say we did shoot a practice video because there's being safety and filming on a rope is a whole thing. Going up and down, and that requires special equipment. And so we did do a practice video before, just on our own, using ourselves as the subjects. But yeah, it felt like a live sport event. It was like we're just recording an event. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you shot the stuff, the extras and the talking, and
Yeah.
was it a pretty easy edit for you 3 too? Like
No.
you shot? No. Okay, good. So the shoot felt natural, and then the edit was tough.
Yeah. So we'll get into, I'm sure, what the next things are, but that's kind of something that I'm thinking about more for the next doc, is like plan A, B, and C for what is the story, This one, we just filmed a thing, and then we got in the editing room, and we're like, there's no story. There's inherently a little bit of a story. Guy wants to climb up a mountain. There's a beginning and an end there and something in the middle. But that's not enough for a whole documentary. So there was a lot of fine-tuning, finding like an arc within a theme. And there were a couple options of what that theme and that arc could be, and finding the strongest one. And coming from narrative, it was actually a narrative editing kind of feels like just going through the motions a lot of the times. It felt like the real storytelling was happening in the edit in this one. So the editing was actually one of my favorite parts about it. I thought it was really freeing and cool to get to just explore without there being like a preconceived anything. Yeah, so it was really fun, and it took a while, and it was challenging, but it was a lot of fun just to find that.
Do you remember like just days where you cracked the story better? Like you found or is that when you realized you should do more interviews or more?
No,
like you didn't have to add footage.
We did not have to add footage. The John Long interview, which kind of. He's the guy in the doc that gives context to everything. He's like, a crack climb is this kind of climb. That we got a little bit later on, and that really helped us kind of set everything up.
And he's also excellent on camera.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of things.
These 2 rock climbers are so good on camera.
Yeah, John Long is just a quote machine. He's been in so many documentaries. He just quote after quote. So he really gave us the flexibility to explore different arcs, because he would set up with his quotes. He would set up different angles we could explore. We could have gone really historic because he gave so much history. There's a whole hour interview of a ton of good stuff where he really fleshed out the history. He really gave us a ton on the acting angle because Mike's an actor, and how he prepares for the climb is really intricate and interesting. He gave a mental health angle on it, which we didn't fully choose to explore in Paisano, which there's like an addiction theme in there, which we didn't even explore, connecting adrenaline addiction to like substance abuse, all these different things we could have tried. So it's cool to kind of weave something together and get to pick one.
And yeah, wow. Actually, the adrenaline thing totally checks out.
Yeah.
But you probably didn't want to end up at like half an hour, I guess. Like,
yeah, that's something that the full-length version, which we're working on right now, is going to focus on. Is Mike's kind of through rock climbing, and Mike kind of found his own way out of some addictive tendencies, and so that's kind of going to be broadly the subject of the full length.
Right. So the 18-minute short is almost a proof of concept in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're actually planning something more in the whatever 80, 90 minute range, or
Yeah.
oh wow.
Yeah. So Mike he wants to do these 5 big famous climbs in the same genre of climbs: off width, invert off width, climbing in roofs essentially in cracks. And he wants to do 5 of these, and Paisano is the first one.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you need him to succeed. Or does he?
Well, that's the cool thing about documentary, he didn't succeed in Paisano technically, and it's still kind of made for a story.
But to go on to the next one, I'm just thinking to myself, well, he's got to try again, doesn't he? Or no?
Yeah, he's going to try again.
He's going to try again.
Yeah.
He has to. I mean, he has
to.
I get it.
Yeah.
And I really did enjoy the footage you got, like at his home, where you see like the boards he set up for him to practice and whatnot. I can't imagine how strong his arms are.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
I mean, it's an amazing sport.
Yeah.
Or it's a sport, right? That's an accurate term.
It's a sport.
Yeah, it's definitely a sport.
Yeah.
It's not a hobby or a pastime or an activity. It's a sport.
It can be, but it is a sport.
Yeah, especially at that level, he's
for him it's a sport.
Yeah.
He is sponsored, so he's a professional athlete.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you're working on that. So is that something you're actively working on, or you're just sort of waiting for him to do more climbs and then you'll do more shooting?
The filming dates are set.
Oh, nice.
We have some investor interest we're navigating, and things are all coming together.
I was going to ask, are all these climbs not too far from California, or are we talking about going around the world?
No, they're not world, but they are multi-state. The Utahs, the Colorados.
Right, of course, the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of building out a van with like a battery system so we can be on the go and be remote. And
that sounds kind of fun to build out this van.
Oh yeah, it's gonna. If nothing comes of the documentary, it's still gonna be a great time.
Yeah, definitely, and road trippy too. That's come on. You will learn as you get older how much you long for the road trips of your youth.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because like
that's
you
a good quote. I like
you know
that.
what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say that as someone who does miss it. But yeah, people don't want to take the time. But driving is the way. You see more. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. So you're planning that, and you're planning other things too, or?
Yeah, I mean, I have like 3 feature-length scripts that I've been working on over the years. Kind of always switching between them just to kind of see which one makes the most sense to do next, and that ranking always changes, as I add things that make things more expensive and whatnot. Also, I have this great community of other filmmakers and like-minded people, and sometimes things line up there. So I'm not entirely sure which project is next, but there's a horror feature in there, like a creature horror feature. There's a really personal, another love story in there. My first love is sci-fi, so there's some sci-fi. There's a longer version of Tendon that's sci-fi.
Yeah. Which makes sense, and those are, I gotta admit, horror and sci-fi can often be, I'm a fan of the low production value, high intelligence sci-fi. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like whether it's Primer or Pi, stuff like that. Like a lot of creativity and intelligence can go a long way in the genres you're talking about. Horror too, right?
Yeah. Well, horror is great. My girlfriend always puts it in a very smart way, I think, which is like, obviously you can tackle like social issues in horror It's like people just think it's just a throwaway genre, but it's like, a very easy and accessible way to tackle social issues. So,
of course,
it's kind of a cool genre, I think.
Totally, and sci-fi too, right? Well, sci-fi is one of the safest ways to make commentary about today by setting it in the future, right?
Yeah.
Or just doing something. It doesn't have to be in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
In fact, the worst thing that ever happened to sci-fi, I would argue that Star Wars, at least the first film, actually had a analogy to real life, because I think the Death Star represented nuclear holocaust, like just blowing up a whole planet.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, but then the success of Star Wars just turned sci-fi into just a war movie in space. And it's like, come on. Yeah. Throughout history, sci-fi has always been an analogy for our times. And now you're just like making shitty film after shitty film. Yeah. Wake up, but that's a Hollywood problem.
Yeah.
They just chase the dollars instead of the art.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Nothing wrong with chasing dollars, I guess. But maybe you can make a good film while.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So that's what you got brewing, and and you got with the same trio. Will be doing the feature length.
Yeah.
Paisano.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense. You're all climbers.
Yeah, I mean, Hayden climbs too, but definitely not as much as Dakota and I. We were this last weekend. We were out for 4 days in Pine Creek with Mike. Doing some filming too, but mainly for fun. But yeah, we're all going to be part of it. Yeah. Very
cool. Now I'm going to ask a really dumb rock climbing question because you're a climber. So do you really have to watch what you eat? Because if you put on I can't help but think this for the sports I do, that the thing that keeps me from binging too much is then I won't be able to, I'll suck on the tennis court. So I'm thinking a rock climber, if you just went crazy over the holidays and put on 15, wouldn't that really affect your rock climbing?
I don't think so.
No. So I'm totally wrong.
I mean, until you get to a certain level, I think nutrition always plays a role. You know, how much energy you have, how sluggish you feel. But at the level that I'm climbing, and I'm climbing into I mean, I'm not a beginner climber.
Yeah.
But it's still, I'm not really feeling it make that much of a difference. For me, I just need to have eaten something. I just need to have the calories.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. You just need to have the calories. If you don't eat before, you need to have that pre-carb load.
I was going to say you got a carbo load, because you need a slow burn because those are long days, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you're climbing for the longest route we ever did we were climbing for 12 hours straight. And so that's a lot of calories. But in terms of weight and diet, there's such a range of climbers. I think it doesn't really affect it quite the way with running. I think, for example, that's maybe it's not an anaerobic sport really. So not as much as you would think. I think.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
good. I won't have to ask a rock climber that question again.
Yeah, I saved you. You said it. Yeah, asked it live instead.
Yeah, I guess that was one I could have saved when we stopped recording. Huh? Damn. Oh well. No worries.
Yeah.
No worries. I don't bother editing. Even if I say something.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else you want to acknowledge, who helped out with Paisano, who didn't get mentioned or anything?
I mean, everyone in the credits, which is admittedly a pretty small list of credits, but I think the people already mentioned. Jack, who belayed, and is in the film too, who belayed, meaning handling the other part of the rope for Mike, was a huge help. My girlfriend Shay helped with equipment and just kind of being on the sidelines, super helpful. Thank you, John Long, for gracing us with your legend. I think, am I forgetting anyone? I think that's.
Well, people should watch it, and
people watch it. Look at the credits.
It's not. I mean, it's nice to give people shout outs.
Yeah.
But I think anybody should be aware that if you're watching an independently made film, every name in the credits mattered, right? Because.
Oh, the woman who did the score, and
That's right. You had original music for it. Yeah.
Really cool organ stuff. I got to look at the credits, but yeah, everyone that was a part of it, thank you so much.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and social media, website, anything you want to share? Or you can just email me and we'll make it a clickable link if you want.
I'll do that as well. I'll also say it. Indieknot is kind of what we're making all of our stuff under, and that's Indieknot_films on Instagram. Yeah, you check that out for all the updates. We're also on YouTube, where we have a podcast where we talk with our collaborators more in detail about.
That's right. We can promote that podcast, man.
There's cool.
One podcast to another.
Awesome. Yeah, just more film community stuff. We need a community to make films, so that's all part of that.
Amen. One of our goals with Film Invasion Los Angeles and its sister festival in December, Sherman Oaks Film Festival, is that to have community around it, and that's why actually I didn't say it, but your 2 awards that say Filmmakers Award, I don't know if you remember from our way too long emails, but the Filmmakers Awards, that's the jury of your peers. Those are people, right? And to me, it just means more that the active filmmakers on the festival circuit saw your film and voted for it. Because the selection committee, we appreciate film, but it's a very different vibe for someone who watches like hundreds of submissions versus the people, because the people on the filmmakers board, the alumni, they just watch the official selections.
Right.
So they just see the cream of the crop, and then they say, I love this the most.
Yeah.
In each type of category. Whereas, when we're picking, we watched all the stuff that didn't get in. And I think that affects our brains.
Yeah.
I mean, how could it not, right?
Yeah, for sure.
In fact, amusingly, I don't know, you're going to be the first person I complain about this to. I don't know why, but we're wrapping up. I cannot stand the people waking up from a nightmare who sit straight up all the way. I see that 97 times per festival. Like the first scene where someone wakes up going, and sitting up, and I'm like, no one's ever actually done that in real life. It's never happened.
It's engaging a lot of stomach muscles right off the bat.
You just can't. You're just going to open your eyes on the bed. I'm like, So
I love that. I love this. This is such an insider.
That is the insider. Every time that happens, especially if my wife is watching submissions with me, which she does like more than half the time she's with me, and when I'm looking at screeners, and every time that happens, she goes, "Oh, you love that." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, that was great."
Is that an automatic out for you?
No, I'll give it a chance but it's close.
Yeah,
it's close.
What about the alarm clock on the side of the bed opener?
I can live with that. Yeah. I mean, but a lot of these things tell me as a juror or someone on the selection jury that this person is not thinking originally. They're showing us something that they've seen 100 times in film. Mm-hmm. And if your idea of making a film is redoing things you've already seen, that's not the kind of film we're going to have in our festival. We want want original creativity. Creativity is the way to go, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I also have a font problem sometimes.
Oh, what?
Font.
Oh yeah.
If the title of the film is in an ugly font, I'm like, if you can't get that aesthetic right, what are the odds you can make a good film?
I don't understand how Avatar got away with the papyrus font. It is the most aggravating thing.
People have mentioned that to me before when I complained about the font thing. Yeah, maybe it wasn't too overused at the time.
I mean, I'm from a hippie town, and that was pretty much what the newspaper was printed in. Oh. So it was rough for me.
So funny. All right, Jannik, I will wrap us up. So Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And it's always more fun to do these in person, I think, than on Zoom. And your website, your social media, your Instagram, those will be clickable links in the show notes, as well as the stuff I'm about to rattle off. But thank you, everyone, for listening to the Discover Indie Film podcast. If you want to learn more about it, go to discoverindiefilm.com. On social media, it's always at DIFwins. Story behind that, but I won't bother. Go to discoverindiefilm.org for the nonprofit that runs 2 film festivals that are both in the top 100 best reviewed list on out of 14,000 festivals worldwide. Gotta brag about that. So I know it's crazy that we have 2 of the top 100s out of 14,000. So we do a nice thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, those 2 festivals are Film Invasion Los Angeles that we hold every June. That's where we showed Paisano Overhang. Actually did the LA premiere, I believe.
It was.
All right. I mean, I realize that that just means we got lucky, because it's not like you held on to it and were like, I'm not going to show it anywhere until Film Invasion LA comes along. But we were lucky enough to premiere it. So I always like, that's always fun.
Yeah.
And you can learn more about that festival if you go to filminvasionla.com, and it's at Film Invasion LA on social media. Its sister festival, Sherman Oaks Film Festival, is every December. You can learn more if you go to ShermanOaksFF.com, and it's at ShermanOaksFF on social media. And those 2 sister festivals get a cousin next year in Lima, Peru. Film Invasion Lima. It's going to be very exciting. In fact, the day Jannik and I are talking is at midnight tonight. Submissions close for Film Invasion Lima. So if you're listening to this, you're too late, because this is going to come out in a couple of weeks. So, but it was on social. We put it on the Instagram for the festivals that, hey, submit. Lima's going to be. I don't even know how it. I haven't been there before, so. But I hear it's beautiful.
I'd go.
Nice.
Maybe I will next year. No, wait, I missed next year. But
I mean, I understand it's high altitude. It's in the Andes, I believe, right? So
yeah, good climbing there.
I bet there's very good climbing. Ooh, Lima climbing trip. Mm-hmm. I could see a whole synergistic thing of, because actually, one of our alumni who's on our Filmmakers Board a lot is now one of the festival runners at Anchorage Film Festival up in Anchorage, Alaska. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little jealous because it's a destination festival, so everyone who goes out there for it, but they go on a hike out on a glacier and stuff. They do all these cool Alaskan activities as well as film. But I'm also jealous because I'm sure hopefully you got to go to some screenings at Film Invasion LA, but we're competing with all the stuff going on in LA. Whereas I would assume if you fly up to Anchorage for the festival, you're going to go to every damn screening, because you're in Alaska.
Yeah,
right?
But that's the best though. If you're just in this little capsule of film festival and outside activities surrounding it.
Yeah, that's.
You're gonna have.
I have a little bit of I have FOMO about that.
I mean, you're gonna have the Peru one, so you're about to.
Yeah, but I think it's a hopping capital. I think it's hopping, but the sweet thing is we're in a beautiful. In the Spanish Quarter of downtown, where the art museums and everything are, this beautiful Spanish era theater. It's gorgeous.
Oh, that's very nice.
And when we stop recording, I'll tell you what the rental is, but it's 1/7 what we have to pay here in LA.
Oh, nice.
yeah. So, anyway, all right, Jannik, thank you so much.
Yeah, honored to be on the pod. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for listening.